Okay, so I'm going to try to do this as a 1-2. From the perspective of Sanatana Dharma, I identify as an adherent of Sanatana Dharma, but I also identify as an adherent of Kami no Michi. But I also consider myself a Catholic. And now you might think this is um, this juxtaposition, but the key thing in the cosmology is a principle of non-negation. So as I mentioned, there are terms that get thrown around. So if someone were to ask me, is Hinduism polytheistic or monotheistic? The whole concept of the question doesn't make any sense. And let me explain why. For example, we emphasize the oneness of God, the oneness of divinity, the cohesion of everything there is. So it just doesn't, if you look at any object, it's a solid, but it's energy, condensed energy. But if you look at the most solid diamond, a rock, it's empty quarks, it's empty vibration, it's empty string, literally vibration. Like the syllable Om, the holy syllable Om, that's sound and vibration, sound and vibration. You look at any apparent solid object, you get to the quantum level, everything looks the same, and elements can be quantumly entangled. So theoretically, can your mind and spirit be entangled with a beautiful mountain if you're a billion light years away? In according to quantum field theory, well, maybe not the macro object, your mind, body, but they're talking about, like, I think they're talking about like something much infinitesimally smaller. So from the perspective of Sanatana Dharma, the whole concept, and I don't want to use this is a really crass example. You take a look at solid block of ice. It can turn into a gaseous state. It can be diffused. It can be solidified, rock solid, and it can be a liquid fluid dynamics, fluid dynamics. So different dynamics. So from a Sanatana Dharma perspective, I go and have a faith, I'm going to call it faith sharing discussion. I'm not going to use the word inner faith, because inner faith means if I'm practicing Kami no Michi, I'm not a Roman Catholic. If I'm a Roman Catholic, I'm not practicing Shinto. Or if I'm practicing Sanatana Dharma, then I'm not practicing Shinto. Or that basically this idea that interfaith tradition, this is your silo, that's your silo. I'm going to share my ideas, but your ideas are not my ideas. Um, and my ideas are not your ideas. But so the funny thing is, Sanatana Dharma, the cosmology. So I don't conceive of the idea of, I was a former Roman Catholic, devoted to the traditional Latin Mass, everything ultra conservative, but now I'm no longer an ultra conservative Tridentine Latin Mass attending a Roman Catholic. What I say here is that the harmony of spirituality. So I love to read the Bible, and I have the Bhagavad Gita. Every single this book is with all of the notes and and I'm reading the other, trying to studying the other this whole body of sacred scripture, not just the one component of this great the Mahabharata, um, this great battle of cosmic significance that you see in the Bhagavad Gita. But kind of lost my train of thought here. What I wanted to um, really pivot to next. I'm gonna pivot something next. Hold on. All right, finally remember what I was trying to say. It's early in the morning, but the internal peace, the peace of the internal and external peace of Sanatana Dharma Hinduism. The internal peace is like this. In the same camp, there are different temples, and they have different ideas. So now, I'm not sure how to use this example, but for example, if you look at some schools in the Christian camp, and I still consider myself part of the Christian camp, mind you that. So, and that's why I kind of feel like I can still talk about it, because there are different debates. Some people believe in the Christian concept of the Holy Trinity, but there are other Christian camps that adhere to a slightly different belief. So you have different denominations, you have different beliefs, and I had great friends. Some are part of the they're faithful Jehovah's Witnesses, and now I spoke to great friends from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, fellow Roman Catholics, Orthodox, evangelicals, different beliefs. But in history, not today, in ancient history, for example, there was the St. Bartholomew Day massacre where the Catholics basically forces massacred French Huguenots, Protestants. But in Sanatana Dharma, historically there's always an emphasis on harmony. So, for example, if you look at there's different ideas, different temples. I went to more of a traditional, quote unquote, traditional Hindu temple, and I went to also another temple, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So going between the different temples, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, founded by Srila Prabhupada, and going to a more traditional, more of a, not so much traditional, there's different schools of thought, very different schools of thought. So someone has, if I follow a guru, then if someone says, your guru is not my guru, where, basically there's this idea that once in a while, if you go to, someone, there are true spiritual masters, and someone, they might say, oh, this person is a false prophet. He declares himself to be, quote unquote, a God man. Okay? But no one's at each other's throats. Nobody's at each other's throats. You believe this? For example, the International Society, they adhere to a very strict monotheistic interpretation, and there are strictures incumbent upon full-fledged devotees that abstain from drink and other practices. So the one camp is going to have a strict, very strict monotheistic interpretation reading of the Gita. Another camp is going to interpret it in a different manner, but one camp doesn't go, we don't insult another camp. And I can freely go to the temple of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Then I can go to a Hindu temple. I attend basically the priest at one temple, kind of shifting left and right, did the puja. The other temple did the puja. I gave the basically, well, it's a very nice thing to see to participate in both of these temples, but they have a different interpretation, but they're at entire peace. So with now that we're talking about, so there's no conflict between adherents of different, now the differences between gurus, different interpretation, different schools of the schools can be very wide, but everyone's at peace. But and now with the respect to the external traditions, we see every path as valid. So now having interfaith sharing it's only invited. And if somehow, I don't want to dilute anyone's faith, so it's a guilty conscience thing, because the Bhagavad Gita teaches me that if someone is a devoted Christian, if someone is devoted to Islam, if someone is devoted to Buddhism, we don't want to try to convince them otherwise, because we see the path as fully valid. So I don't want to accidentally diffuse, dilute someone's conviction, their faith in Jesus. I want, so whatever someone's faith is, I hope their faith grows and it becomes strengthened. But, well, how can I justify it? Well, if invited, okay, if challenged, not challenged, but if invited, then upon invitation, okay, then that's fair game, right? Is everything fair in love and war? All right, so, and here's another concept. You don't have to be, like I said before, you don't have to be the serene, prayerful person. And, if you have a fierce personality, okay, maybe you've done some things in the past. There are manifestations of serenity and fierceness. Look at the fierceness of Mahakalabhairava, the fierceness of Mahakali. There's a room for passion, and passion isn't bad. Passion is good if it is not taken to extremes, if you're not a slave to your passions, if you can channel your energy, if you're right now filled with an insatiable rage, and you learn how to channel that into something good, in accordance with your own inner nature, your own internal swabhava, you are going to be productive and you're going to do stuff that's productive and beneficial rather than harmful.